Hello, everyone. This is your co-host Marx with,
Co-host Julie.
and this is our companion show to GenreTainment called GenreTalk, where we talk all about our favorite genre movies, TV shows, and other stuff too.
Now, how often we do this show is partly up to you. So if you like this, please let us know by subscribing or leaving comments, like, follow, or if you want to be super cool, join our Patreon over at patreon.com/Cabot Crossing. That's Cabot, Cabbit. For those of you who don't listen to us on YouTube, you might not know that Cabot Crossing is our publishing company, where we publish novels and anthologies, and we are now also producing genre play, GenreTainment, Behind the Dice, and more as part of our Cabot Crossing publishing. Now today we're going to talk about the Disney Plus MCU show Agatha All Along.
Yeah, first we're going to do our best to be spoiler-free in our review. Then we'll do spoilers, all the spoilers. And at the end, we give our ratings. So if you don't want to be spoiled, we will cue you when to skip to the end, and we'll try to put times in the show notes to help with that.
The official synopsis is: a spellbound Agatha Harkness regains freedom thanks to a teen's help. Intrigued by his plea, she embarks on the Witch's Road trials to reclaim her powers and discover the teen's motivations. This show stars Catherine Hahn, back as Witch Agatha Harkness, Joe Locke as Teen, Aubrey Plaza as Rio, Patti LuPone as Sicilian divination witch Lilia Calderou, Sashir Zamata as potion specialist Jennifer Kale, Ali Ahn as protection witch Alice Wu Gulliver, and the always funny Deborah Jo Rupp as neighbor Mrs. Hart.
And the MCU has been having some ups and downs in Phase 4 and 5, especially with their TV shows. So, how does this compare? And at the time of this recording, which is a few days after the last episode aired, over on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a score of 83%, which is pretty good, which is way better than Secret Invasion's 52% or 70% for Echo. But let's
I
look at
liked
something.
Echo.
I did too. I mean, it was like more than Secret Invasion, right?
Yeah.
But let's look at something that has a little more direct effect on what studios look at and brings in, that advertising money probably, or subscriber money. According to Disney, the second to last episode reached 4.6 million views in the first day of streaming, which puts it nearly 10% above the previous episode. And that same night, the final episode was also streaming, and it hit 3.9 million views in the first day. Disney hasn't really standardized its viewership measurement period, which makes it kind of tough to do comparisons to their other shows. But Variety reported they believe the premiere of Agatha All Along was in the same range as Percy Jackson and Acolyte launches. And looking over at Nielsen streaming charts, Agatha All Along logged in about 426 million viewing minutes between September 16 and 22, with the release of its first two episodes on September 18th. It made it about ranking number 8 most watched streaming original series of the week. So what I kind of get from all this and just general buzz that I've heard is that Agatha All Along started strong compared to other Disney Plus shows, and especially MCU shows, and might have grew faster than those other shows. And overall, online reviews seem much more positive than other recent MCU shows, especially like the Acolyte and other stuff. There's lots of stuff going on there. But is it good? And how does it compare to other MCU shows? What do you think, Julie?
Well, I thought it was a really, really good show. I enjoyed the drama and the comedy of it. I like how it started. I think you struggled a little bit with how the series started out, but I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I don't want to say too much because it'll be spoiler.
Yeah, it's kind of tough, right?
Yeah, and I thought they did a really great job with everything from the casting to the music to just everything. I really enjoyed it a lot.
How would you compare it to some of the other MCU TV shows?
It's hard to say because it's been a while since I watched the others, but right now it seems to be probably, if not my favorite, among the favorites. Well, among my favorites on the Disney MCU. I mean, it's hard to say compared to the MCU shows that were on Netflix. Are we comparing it to those two, or?
You can, and they're coming back. So where do you think it fits in with Netflix Marvel? The Daredevil and all that good stuff.
It's right up there with those.
Okay.
Because I really liked the Netflix Marvel shows. I've enjoyed those better than I have the Disney ones, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Except for this one. I think I would put this one up with the Netflix.
Cool. You got anything else you want to say? Spoiler free first?
No.
Okay, cool. Well, I love MCU, and even at the worst, kind of find them better than most other superhero shows or movies in general. But I think like Secret Invasion kind of didn't work for me very well. I
No, it
think that
didn't
was
work
kind
for
of
me either.
yeah, that was kind of a low point there because I love Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury,
I
and I
know.
love espionage action stuff. I love a bunch of stuff that
How did
should
they
have been.
screw that up so bad?
Yeah, I mean that's a whole nother discussion about not understanding your genre or picking this a framework for your genre and blah 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 and stuff, or understanding shapeshifting and all that stuff. But anyway, that show could have been a lot better. So I was a little worried, a little nervous about where we're going with MCU TV shows. But I thought Echo was a pretty good a good start, like a
Yes.
good direction. And then, but Agatha All Along really nailed it. I think I really like. It has some of the weird supernatural vibes that Werewolf by Night had, which is still probably one of my favorites from their TV stuff. I hope we get more of that. And it had a strong start. Didn't hook me as much as it did you, as you mentioned. But I thought it got better and better. And then like the last half, I don't want to give away too much, but the last half I thought was really amazing. It really came together. I
Yeah.
elevated it. I think the casting was great in this. You mentioned a lot of really great names in there, and they all did an amazing job in their characters' performances. And probably another thing that's not as direct for us, the viewers, but for a TV show to have a success is that from what I understand, is the budget was much smaller on this show compared to some of the other MCU TV shows.
Really? Because it did
Yeah,
not look like it.
well, it was a little bit more studio set. A lot of episodes were really set in certain like a smaller spatial area, right?
Yeah.
um, which probably helped out a lot. And then, really, when you think about it, there's an amazing cast and they're really good, but you don't have like tons of people. There's not like lots of extras. There's not a whole lot of scenes or episodes with tons of extras, and there
That's
isn't
true.
massive. There isn't as many massive fights and stuff compared to most Marvel stuff. So I don't know how much lower. I just know in general it's supposed to be lower. I don't know if any of those numbers are leaked out or not or been given, but I think that's promising too. It's hard to say how the behind the scenes stuff works, but I know that one criticism MCU had up to this point for their TV stuff is that they treated it a lot like their movies, and the writers didn't have as much control on set and or wasn't as involved. It was very much director heavy or showrunner heavy. And I know, like, from reading interviews with the showrunner for this show, she was talking a lot about, oh, this was this writer's idea and this was this writer's idea, and we worked together and this that. So I really
Yeah.
love hearing that with a really good healthy writers room kind of chemistry.
It should be collaborative. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's really so important TV, especially if you're going to ever go beyond it one season. That's another problem too, is we keep getting these like one shot seasons, and that's not really
They're
the
not really a
best way.
series. It's just a mini series. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not really the best way to do TV.
Yeah.
They want to make super huge shows, like get us 2 3 4 seasons or something good.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get that with Daredevil coming up soon. So anyway, yes, it was great. I don't think we can say too much more without spoiling stuff. And so let's go ahead and spoil now. What's your spoilering review?
I actually liked how it started out as sort of a police procedural.
Mhm.
Of course, I like police procedurals and mysteries, and it started out as a mystery show.
Mhm.
And so I guess because that's sort of my genre, besides the genre, I liked that. And I like how it morphed into this whole world of witchcraft. And I don't know, I just thought it was really creative. I liked that aspect.
Mhm.
And then probably my favorite episode would have to be the one with Lilia, where we finally see that she's out of time, that
Yeah,
she's experiencing her
episode 7
life.
maybe. Mhm.
Yeah, she's experiencing her life in different, her time isn't linear for her.
Yeah, Death's Hand in Mine, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really great. That's what I think. It started off strong anyway, and it had kind of a WandaVision vibe because she was stuck in that television procedure show.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell these writers really love TV and stuff, and I love self-referencing TV stuff too, meta stuff. But it didn't just retread WandaVision or anything. It went in a different direction. It went an ensemble cast, which I don't think anybody thought about happening when you first hear about Agatha TV show happening.
Well, she's not a
And
team player, so
no,
you wouldn't
she's not.
think it would be
Still really isn't much of one.
she's not a very
um,
good team player, so you wouldn't think it would be an ensemble cast, but she had a team thrust upon her, basically.
mhm. And I think it was good for the beginning, but I was kind of like, it's okay. It's one of the better shows, but not blowing me away. But then when we hit episode 6, where we find out who the teen is, and we go back to see how the teen's origin basically, and how
Yeah,
it connects. And I thought that was very well done, not just because of the
that really
clever
was.
twist and of who he was and stuff, which I think a lot of people suspected who he was. At least I did,
I
and most people
didn't.
probably, well, most people who know the comic books probably suspected that they were going to bring back her kids, but they gave us some red herrings to make us wonder. And more importantly, just how they told that story. It was very personal, and they had a lot of the cinematography, the editing, and then of course the acting in it really helped set that pace to really make us care about this character and what happened to him and stuff. It made this, superhero stuff. These things happen sometimes, and you just think, well, I'm my brother became a evil clone, and I killed him, and I did, it's just all crazy stuff. And but they,
Yeah.
they they really bring the humanity effect. That this was a normal person who died in part because of an accident from what Wanda was doing, and then the spirit of her son takes advantage and possesses this body. But then he doesn't really remember everything, and he doesn't know who this other kid was, who he is. Doesn't quite understand what's happening. He has these parents who are very loving, but are don't know what to think about him. He doesn't want to tell them. He can read their minds. It's just it's those grounding elements that I think you get like a lot from like X-Men a lot of times, that and really some of the best Marvel stuff that really makes them stand out compared to stuff that's maybe less
Hmm.
grounding, like uber rich billionaires fighting people in bat costumes or or something. Love
Yeah.
Batman, but not as relatable. So anyway, I thought that story was really well done. And then right after that,
I
we got
love.
episodes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I
What were
was
you
going
gonna
to say,
say?
I love when we find out what happens. We get the flashbacks of Harkness, Agatha, what happened with her son.
Yeah. So that was episode 9. So I guess, episode 6 had that with the teen. Then episode 7, as you mentioned earlier, amazing episode again, told kind of out of sequence of time and piecing together everything we've seen, at least with that character, with oh man, I can't remember her name now.
Lilia,
Yeah, with that character,
Patty
and kind of
Lapone.
making
Yeah.
sense of everything she's been saying or doing.
Yeah,
And
because, you're watching the show and she doesn't always make a lot of sense. And then you watch that episode and it's like, oh, everything she did made sense.
it all came
Everything
together.
she said was legit.
Hmm. And then episode 8 is sort of like the end of the road, and a sacrifice made, and really teen becoming fully Wanda's son, and looking for his brother. And you could have stopped it there, but then episode 9, I don't know, maybe I can't remember, or I guess the ghost, I guess actually I'm skipping a little bit. We had the end of the road, and then he realizes that, did he create the road,
Yeah.
what. And then you get this whole revelation in episode 9 with the flashback with Agatha's son, and a little bit of it with Rio, aka Death. And that's really well acted and very touching moments and scenes, but also showing that Agatha is not exactly a hero. She loves her son. That's her good side, but she really likes killing witches. So
Yeah, she really does like killing other
she really
witches.
does. And I don't know if it's just because she's so mad because the other witches, tried to kill her a long time ago, or if it's because she's like addicted to the rush of the power, or she needs it to stay alive, or if it helps keep her
She
son alive.
keeps saying
There's
she needs it to stay alive.
Yeah, and I guess maybe to stay immortal, but she definitely likes killing him. And then you find out the road, this awesome song that we were introduced into the very beginning of the show, or at least the beginning opening credits, because it's done like that parody foreign, adapted detective show kind of
Yeah.
thing. I can't remember what show they're kind of parodying in this and that, but with that song that's windy road and stuff like that. But it's a real slow kind of tune to it, which then evolves into the Witches Road's chant song thing, which evolves into various versions of Witches
Yeah,
Road.
they really love that song in the show, by the way.
It's a great song. They
It's
did a
a
great
great
job
song.
with
It is played in some capacity every episode, I think.
it. Just about. And then you see like how the song was originated and how it connects with her and her son, and it just adds another layer to everything. And then also that the song turned into a trap, and it was just a witch's trap. It was never real in the first place until it was made real, right? And
Yeah. That's
so
why
I
she
just
looked
love
so
that.
shocked whenever the road showed up,
Yeah.
because it wasn't ever supposed to. It was always a con.
And I caught that, and I think if anybody did catch that,
Yeah, I noticed
you,
she looked surprised.
yeah, I think they were trying to make us wonder if maybe she lied about being on the road, but really there just never was a road, right? So there's a
Yeah, there
lot
was
of,
never a road.
yeah. And I read interviews with the showrunner, and they talked about that, and they had taken various takes from some of those moments of reaction shots to then in editing to work with it and try to be careful not to give away too much too early. So but still have it there. So whenever you go back, you're like, that's what that meant.
Hmm.
So I love those layers. I like when I've done filmmaking or writing, I like adding layers like that, and that was like a master class of doing it. So I really really appreciate that quality of writing and work they put into it. So whole nother level. Let's have more Marvel stuff where it's written that well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so cast is great. We still she's a ghost at the end, and we'll see where they go from there.
Yeah,
So, did you like the ending?
I did. I thought it was funny whenever she said she was trying to figure out what teen was wanting, what Billy was wanting.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, your mom or your dad. He's like, I've got a mom and a dad. And I feel like he was referencing the parents that he has now.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, which I thought that added a whole nother layer that, in the amount of time that he'd been in that body, that he had bonded with that family, but he was, desperate to find his brother.
Yeah, they're close, and then Wanda chose to give them up, and I don't know, like his perception of time, or even how much he remembers all that, of like how much he really spent, how many memories he has with them because he was created, right?
Yeah.
So, but with his biological or his newer parents, his adopted parents, let's say,
I
he's
don't
got
know
like
what to call them either.
he's got 3 years of life with them, of normal life. So he definitely,
Yeah.
yeah, there's going to be fun stuff to play with there if you ever, once he finally ever meets Vision, or if Wanda ever returns to life, because this is superhero world, right? So
Yeah,
she
so
could.
it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I like the ghost element, and it's very true. In the comic books, there is a time where she is a ghost, so I'm sure that's where they got the idea of doing
Yeah.
that. And I also liked another thing too. I think one of the big things that makes it work, besides the writing and the subtext, the hidden clues and stuff, and all the layers, is that Catherine Hahn did a really amazing job acting, because she played a lot of different her character a lot of different ways throughout this season.
Yeah, she did.
She went like over the top police detective, bad acting on purpose. Then she was, her, but powerless. And, she was conflicted with her feelings about the teen at first, or if, she eventually started, well, what's the road happened. She was like, this is Billy, I think. Her feelings with Rio, she's still like a villain, really. Like, she's not like,
Yeah, she hasn't really changed her stripes too much.
no, and they didn't do like with Loki. Like, I felt like they made Loki a hero way too fast, and in the TV show,
Hmm.
and it was too
I
much
just
like,
can't get into that show.
I tried, I like it sort of, but anyway, that's another discussion. But the thing I'm trying to say is that even though the actor does an amazing job as Loki, and Loki's a really cool character, they made him, for the sake of the show, way more heroic, way faster than it made sense. Like, there's one thing to
Yes.
being like, oh, I won't try to kill my brother and take over the kingdom, to being like, I'm going to be selfless and trying to do something kind of deal and save the multiverse or something.
It would have been
Agatha,
fun to watch him morph into a hero rather than just be suddenly a hero.
yeah, I feel like they didn't spend enough time season one to make that happen. But anyway, with Agatha, and I think people thought they were going to make her hero, and I guess she did something heroic, right? But she is still very much her. It's like she has a soft spot for Billy, and because Billy reminds her of her son, which is her one person that she loved in the world. I mean, maybe Rio too, who knows? But the one person that she, wanted to be good for. Nicholas messed up her plot to kill those witches. She could have been very angry and lashed out at him and stuff. And I think she wanted to for half a second, but she was like, oh, well, I understand. It's my son and stuff. So she tried. So I really like that. And it's consistent and it feels real. I would not, if I was anyone but Billy, I wouldn't turn my back on her. Even Billy, I don't know if I would I wouldn't trust her too much. And I think that's great. That makes her a very different kind of character that can be sometimes heroic, but also can be, kind of out for herself. She's got psychological stuff going on.
She's got issues.
She's got issues. And also, another thing I want to mention is her physical performance is so well, because like when she was the Wicked Witch or when she was taking on other roles of character, she changed her mannerism a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. That's not easy to do. And that shows really good acting abilities. So yeah, kudos to her and other actors too. John Locke was good, or Joe Locke, I'm sorry. And all the other actors were quite good too, but she's the star of the show. She's got to be good or it doesn't hold up, right?
Right.
All right. So we really like the show. We both feel like it's MCU going in the right direction, probably. I really, really hope what I would love to see with MCU TV is I would love to see us get like a corner. I think they're already starting to work on it, of street level heroes, like with Daredevil and hopefully other shows, like how Netflix Marvel was. And then I also hope with Agatha All Along and Werewolf by Night, I hope this turns into kind of this corner of like supernatural MCU. And I would love to see more of that too for their TV stuff. And I really feel like you do those two things and you're gold for like 5-10 years probably. And then you do the movies with whatever you want to do and be fine. So anyway, hopefully they'll do that. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and rate this. Let's go, how many witches out of a possible max of 10 witches in a coven do we give it?
How many do you give it?
Oh, I mean, I give it like, I would say, because it wasn't quite a strong grab. They had to do 2 episodes because I think if they did the 1 episode, it wouldn't have grabbed me as quickly. And because of that, I can't give it a 10, but I think I would give it a 9.5.
I'm going to go ahead and give it a 10 witches in the coven.
All right. Wow. Okay. I mean, obviously, if you don't like witches, if you want spandex superheroes and that's all you want your Marvel, your rating may differ than ours. But I liked it quite a bit as a superhero flavored urban fantasy. I thought it was great. So I guess that's it. We ranked it. We talked about it. So let's go ahead and wrap things up.
Well, thank you so much to everyone for listening. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Tell us your favorite parts of the show and what you think might have been missing. What other TV shows, movies, or other things would you like us to talk about? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, please do. We want to hear from you. Both other stuff to cover and also your thoughts. Did you not like it as much as us? Did you love certain scenes that we didn't talk about? Feel free to mention it. Don't forget, if you found us with this episode, you can also hear us interview curators on GenreTalk or listen or watch us play different tabletop role-playing games and also discuss them too over on Genre Play. And you can find all those over at cabotcrossing.com or on our YouTube channel at Cabot Crossing. Links in the show notes. And I think that's a wrap for today's episode.
Until next time.
Bad monkey.